The truth. Nobody tells you about freedom. We all say we want freedom, the freedom to be ourselves, the freedom to live life on our own terms, the freedom to speak, to act, to choose. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people don't actually want freedom, because freedom isn't just about having choices. It's about being willing to pay the price that comes with them, and that price is often conflict. Friedrich Nietzsche, one of the most radical minds in Western philosophy, warned us, if you want to be free, stop being afraid of conflict. But what does that actually mean? And why does it matter so much in a world that tells us to keep things peaceful, pleasant, and safe? In this video, we're going to explore 6 profound ideas from Nietzsche's philosophy. 6 keys that can help you understand why conflict isn't something to run from, but something to walk through, if you want to live authentically. Stay until the end, because we're going to uncover a paradox most people never see. A hidden layer of wisdom that could change how you approach your own life forever. 1. The myth of peace, why comfort can be a prison. Let's start with a lie we've all been sold, that peace means avoiding conflict, that keeping your head down, staying agreeable, and avoiding rocking the boat is the way to live in harmony. But Nietzsche challenged that idea completely. To him, what most people call peace is actually submission disguised as virtue. It's comfort that has calcified into fear. It's a false peace that comes from avoidance, not resolution. When you constantly avoid conflict, you don't become peaceful. You become inauthentic. You bite your tongue when you should speak. You fake agreement when your soul wants to scream. And over time, you lose touch with who you really are, because you've trained yourself to value approval over truth. Nietzsche believed that this kind of peace is not peace at all. It's the death of the self. 2. Slave morality versus master morality. Nietzsche's moral revolution. Nietzsche introduced a controversial idea in his book Beyond Good and Evil, the division between slave morality and master morality. And it's one of the most eye-opening ways to understand modern society and yourself. Slave morality is born from weakness. It values humility, obedience, and safety. It's the morality of those who have no power, so they glorify submission as a virtue. Master morality, on the other hand, comes from strength. It values self-determination, willpower, and the courage to create your own values. But here's the kicker. Most people today are unknowingly living under slave morality. We're taught to be nice over honest, to avoid confrontation, even if it means betraying our values, to suppress our instincts in the name of being good. Nietzsche asks us, who defined good for you, and why did you accept it? True freedom, he argued, only comes when you overcome the herd morality, when you stop asking what's socially acceptable and start asking, what do I believe is right, even if it costs me everything? 3. Conflict is self-discovery, the mirror that shows you who you are. Here's something most people never realize. Conflict isn't just with other people. The most important conflicts are internal. The ones between your soul and your silence, your truth and your fear, your desire and your conditioning. Every time you face a real conflict, you're given a choice. Do I speak the truth and risk being misunderstood? Do I act on my values, or do I play it safe? And in that moment, something inside you is revealed. Nietzsche believed that conflict is a mirror. It shows you who you are, not who you pretend to be, but who you are under pressure, under threat, under fire. Avoiding conflict means avoiding that mirror, and if you never look into it, how will you ever know what you truly believe? How will you ever develop a spine, a philosophy, a sense of you? If you really want to know yourself, don't avoid conflict. Step into it. Consciously, let it refine you. 4. The UberMench, creating your own values. Nietzsche introduced the concept of the UberMench or overman. He didn't mean a perfect person or a dictator. He meant someone who transcends the limitations of societal values and creates their own meaning in life. Most people inherit values. We follow rules handed to us by religion, culture, politics, family, without ever questioning where they came from. The UberMensch says, I will decide what is good and evil. I will write my own code. Not because I want to rebel, but because I want to live with integrity. But this path is not easy. To become the UberMensch, you must face immense conflict with tradition, conflict with public opinion, conflict with your old self. You'll be labeled arrogant, selfish, even dangerous. But Nietzsche's message is clear. If you do not go through this fire, you will never become who you are capable of being. 5. Real freedom requires real resistance. Here's the thing about freedom. It's not the absence of problems. It's the presence of courage. Nietzsche warned against the idea that freedom could be painless. He said, if you're not facing resistance, if everyone agrees with you, if no one is offended by your truth, then you're probably not living your truth. Because truth, real truth, divides. It separates what is genuine from what is comfortable. This is why most people never become free. They want to be liked. They want to fit in. They want a version of freedom that comes without the struggle. But Nietzsche tells us, you must be willing to disappoint others to avoid disappointing yourself. That is the price of freedom. 6. The hidden wisdom. Conflict leads to real peace. Here's the paradox, the final insight that ties it all together. When you stop avoiding conflict, when you start telling the truth, when you embrace discomfort instead of running from it, you don't become more angry, you don't become more bitter, you become more peaceful. Because real peace doesn't come from being liked, it comes from being whole, from knowing that you're not living a double life, that you're not censoring yourself every day just to keep things calm. Nietzsche believed that the highest form of peace isn't found in avoiding the storm, it's found in walking through it and discovering that your spirit survived. Final words to the viewer. So ask yourself, what conflict have you been avoiding? Where in your life have you chosen silence over truth? Who are you trying not to offend at the cost of losing yourself? Nietzsche gave us a brutal, honest message, but also a liberating one. If you want to be free, stop being afraid of conflict. Not all battles are worth fighting, but the ones between your soul and your silence, those are the ones you can't afford to lose. If this video spoke to something real inside you, subscribe. Join a community of people who are done with playing small. And in the comments let me know, what truth are you ready to finally live? Because real freedom begins when fear ends.